Welcome to Influential Sports, where passion meets precision. As I'm your host, Ed, diving deep into the plays, players, and stories shaping the game. And in this video, I'm going to be doing my recap of TNA Bound For Glory. Usually, since I've been doing my vlogs on Mondays, I usually do the pay-per-views, either reviewing through a live or I do them through shorts. But I got to do a full video for this. I made a short about Mike Santana, which that'll be the last match that I talk about, and I'm going to dive deeper into that at the end of the video. But make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, a comment throughout the video, which match you enjoyed the most, which match you enjoyed the least. And let's get started with the kickoff show. I ain't watched the kickoff show. I had to go back and watch the match that was there. I'll probably go back and watch the Hall of Fame induction at some point, but shout out to all the women that made the TNA Hall of Fame this year. Congratulations to them. It was 3 or 4 that made it, so I'm going to go back and watch their speeches when I get time. But the first match of the show, every title was on the line, and you had a title match on the pre-show, which was the Inspiration taking on the Elegance brand for the Knockouts Tag Team Championships. The Elegance, Ashley Elegance walked the Elegance brand to the ring. She didn't stay at ringside, but she got that moment to be there for them. And the match, it was a solid match. The Inspiration, as soon as they got to the ring, the Elegance brand didn't let them get through with their intro. As soon as they got in the ring, they was on the attack instantly. The Inspiration would end up retaining. It was a solid match. And by Elegance took the pin, which was expected, so it wasn't unexpected. But she ended up taking the pin. The Inspiration retained. Figured they wouldn't lose, especially since it was on the kickoff show and they just won it last week on Impact. I didn't see the match where they won it. I'm sure that one was better. I'm sure they had more time on there. But this match wasn't bad at all. Then you get started with the main card where you had an international championship on the line between Frankie Kazarian, who's the current champion, and Steve Macklin going into this match. Now, this match was all right. It shouldn't have been the opener. I think it would have been better placed somewhere in the middle of the show, or it even could have been on the kickoff show, and the Elegance brand and Inspirations match could have been on the main card. But my biggest issue with this match is the winner, because Frankie Kazarian was just the first international champion. Steve Macklin was the first. He's also the third now. So it's been 3 international champions, and 2 of those has been the same guy. Steve Macklin won a second time. He had a good reign the first time, but I don't see what a second reign does for him. It's a new championship. You should be focused on building prestige to it or building up new stars. But you already built a new star with Leon Slater with the X Division Championship. So you can use this as a way to build prestige, because you had a Steve Macklin win it, who's been established the last few years. Then you had a Frankie Kazarian who was stamped in TNA. Frankie could have lost to somebody that needed it, like a Jake something. I know they've been working together, but maybe Mance Warner, maybe a Mustafa Ali. And I know I'm naming heels, but maybe Elijah, now that he's back. Maybe you could even tell that story. Like, it's other things I felt like they could have did here instead of giving Steve Macklin the title back. But them giving Steve Macklin the title back just didn't make sense, in my opinion. It was an all-right match, but this match shouldn't have been the opener. Then next you had Tessa Blanchard taking on Gia Miller, and Gia Miller's in-ring debut in TNA. She's the backstage announcer or interviewer, whatever you want to, backstage reporter. She's the reporter for TNA, and she stepped in the ring. They told a good story between her and Tessa Blanchard. I think this is the end of it. Yeah, I would assume this is the end of their feud. But Gia Miller got in the ring. She looked good. Jody Threat was ringside for Gia Miller, as Victoria Crawford was ringside for Tessa Blanchard, as she always is. And Victoria Crawford, she got involved. So Jody Threat, she ran out the building, and they weren't seen for the rest of the match. And Gia Miller was putting in some solid offense. She had a powerbomb, which looked great. I was very surprised by that. For somebody that isn't known that hasn't been a wrestler in her career in TNA, she looked very impressive. She looked great in the ring. Excuse me. Tessa Blanchard did a great job. And then Tessa Blanchard won the match by hitting Gia Miller with a roll of quarters, which is something her dad did a while ago at Starrcade versus Ric Flair, if I'm not mistaken. That's what they said on commentary. So I think that was in like 1982. So it's definitely a callback. I don't think it would have been cool if they showed the clip after the match, if they had access to that. Because winning the match by hitting somebody with a roll of quarters is insane. But this was a good match. Gia Miller wasn't going to get the win, but she did a great job in the ring. Tessa Blanchard ended up getting the win that she should. And I could see Tessa Blanchard going after the world title again. I think she is going to be world champion soon. If not by the end of the year, definitely by probably 4 months, probably by April of next year, she's going to be world champion again, be TNA Knockouts champion. Not the men's world champion, not that again. Then you have the Call Your Shot Gauntlet, which features men and women, and whoever wins this gets a trophy and have a guaranteed shot at any title of their choosing. And this match was booked really well. Mara Sade and Lei Ching Lee, they started the match off. And then not AJ Francis, it was Ryan Nemeth who came in there, and the ladies double team Ryan Nemeth, so Nick Nemeth came in there. Him and Mara Sade went at it, and Nick Nemeth ended up dropping Mara Sade. And then AJ Francis was the fifth entrance. He eliminated both women. He also eliminated his own tag team partner in Rich Swann, which was very funny because they talked about it on commentary, talked about if AJ Francis would do that, and he actually ended up doing it. So that was a nice touch. Then BDE, the YouTuber, one of the most known wrestling YouTubers in the world, one of the best wrestling YouTubers, he made his debut. He's been wrestling for a little minute now. He made his TNA debut. I was impressed by what he did in the Call Your Shot Gauntlet Battle Royal. There were some people I seen having an issue with him, saying that he didn't look ready, this and that. At the end, this is the most professional. Like, he's had matches with AJ Francis on the Indies. Most of his matches been against guys on the Indies, and he stepped in the ring with former WWE talent, TNA talent, etc. Guys that wrestled around the world. So he's probably never seen competition like this. And for somebody that's new to being in a program in a spotlight this big, he did a good job, in my opinion. The Rascals and BDE, they did a 4-way super kick to AJ Francis to eliminate him. Like, they all played their part in that. And he hit a cutter. He hit a cutter on AJ Francis as well. And like I said, him and AJ Francis have chemistry in the indie scene, if y'all been paying attention. So he did a good job. He's been wrestling with other professional wrestlers. And they did a great job making BDE look great in this match. He did a great job himself, had a cool entrance. So yeah, I was rocking with it. And then trying to see what some of the other important points. Eric Young was the one that eliminated BDE. Rosemary missed it. Jake something by accident. That's the hometown man. Moved out the way. And then it was basic. It was just basic stuff. Frankie Kazarian, he took out Jody Threat to enter the match. And then Santino wasn't rocking with it. Santino's music hit. He got in the Battle Royal, and Nick Nemeth eliminated him quickly. But then let's fast forward to the end of the match and talk about the important stuff. So you had Nick Nemeth, Ryan Nemeth, and Matt Cardona, all three of them in the ring at the same time. Frankie Kazarian was still in the Battle Royal because Santino hit him with the Cobra, but he went through the middle rope. He was never over the top rope. So Nick Nemeth went for a super kick, and he accidentally kicked his brother Ryan Nemeth. So it left him and Matt Cardona. And Matt Cardona was eliminated by Steph DeLander and Mance Warner, who were already out. And Nick Nemeth thought he won, which wouldn't make sense, because once it gets down to the last two people, it's supposed to be a one-on-one match. So then Frankie Kazarian got back in the ring, and it was down to them two, as Frankie Kazarian and Nick Nemeth. Then they had the little one-on-one match. It didn't last super long, and it was a double pin. They had two refs. It was a ref bump earlier, so a second ref came in there, and they had a double pin. And it ended with both guys winning the trophy. Santino announced for the first time in history that two guys are going to have a trophy. So it's two Call Your Shot Gauntlet winners, and they both have a year to cash in on either title that they want. Well, this was a good match. This was a surprising ending. I don't even have a problem with it. I just think personally I would have wanted to see Nick and Ryan win it together, because then they could have called their shot at the tag team championships anytime. Or they could have swerved us when after the tag titles won that will having the Call Your Shot Gauntlet, and Ryan Nemeth goes for a mid-card title and Nick goes for a world title. Because it's going to be two cash-in attempts. And it's both going to be singles titles, because Nick isn't going to team. Nick and Frankie aren't going to team together. So I think it would have been cool if Nick and Ryan had it, because I feel like it could have told a better story. Like, I'm not saying this one's going to be bad, because we got to see it first. But I think having the story of the brothers, it's like, it's not a guarantee that they cash in on the tag titles. They could both win singles gold, then win the tag titles by just winning the number one contenders match. I think this would have been something cool that they could have did, but I was really hoping that Nick and Ryan would have got the win. This was a great match. I enjoyed it. Kalani Jordan took on Indy Hartwell for the TNA Knockouts Championship. I figured Kalani wasn't losing this title. She just won it. She wasn't going to lose after 2 weeks. It was a good match. They showed respect to each other. Indy Hartwell rolled through the crossbody, and Kalani went for a frog splash, and she pinned Indy Hartwell 3 straight times after that, and Indy kicked out all 3 times. But Kalani ended up retaining. She hit the one of a kind. She was able to retain the title. There was no ref bump in this match, even though the ref was a bit questionable, as she was a bit later to some of the counts for Kalani Jordan. Which, if it's going to be a clear bias, at least had it in the story. If it's going to be a clear bias against Kalani since she's from NXT. But it was a great match. Kalani ended up retaining. They shook hands. Yeah, they shook hands after the match. So it is what it is. I don't know what's next for Kalani Jordan. Like I said, I would throw Tessa Blanchard at her. Even though Tessa Blanchard might be the only way she could become a face is if she, but they don't need to make her a face, but if they really wanted to, that'd be a route they could explore with having her go after Kalani Jordan and see how it's perceived. And if she's still getting booed, if TNA fans are still treating her like a heel, then it's pretty much stamped that she'll forever be a heel there. But at least give it one more attempt at her being a babyface by having her go after Kalani Jordan. Win or lose, I think it'd be a good program, and I think it'd really help Kalani Jordan. Or maybe have Victoria Crawford go after Kalani Jordan. Maybe that could be something cool you could do. You had a hardcore war between Order 4 and the System, and it was a lot of notes from this match. I could talk about this for a while. I wanted to keep this video at around 20 minutes, somewhere around there. But a great match. You had Alyssa Edwards and Tasha Steelz. They were the standouts here. They really went at it. They took some crazy bumps. Alyssa Edwards got slammed by Agent Zero onto the thumbtacks. Alyssa Edwards went crazy on Tasha Steelz, hitting her with a kendo stick repeatedly. The Moose came in with a chain wrapped around them. The Order 4 had Alyssa Edwards cornered at one point, and Eddie Edwards, he came there at the perfect time to save her from getting jumped 5-on-1. And Order 4, they had the advantage since they won the advantage match. And Ali, he came out last for Order 4. Then Moose was the last entrance in the match in general. And then once the match officially started, you had Agent Zero doing like a suicide dive over the top ropes, which I was really impressed by with how tall he is, about 6'8" or 6'9". I was like, wow. And then, like I said, Alyssa Edwards went through the thumbtacks. Moose hit back-to-back spears, and he ended up hurting his shoulder, probably because he had that chain wrapped around him. Ali went for the 450 on Tasha Steelz onto the thumbtacks, but she moved out the way, and Eddie Edwards hit the Boston Knee Party with barbed wire wrapped around his knee, and he would end up pinning Mustafa Ali for the win. So Order 4 ends up winning the faction war. It was a great match. All 10 people did their thing. All 10 people felt important in this match. Everybody served a purpose. It wasn't just them coming in, but they actually did something valuable. Whether it was Eddie Edwards saving his wife, whether it was Moose having the double spear, the great hands being the first two in for the System makes the most sense since they're the tag team. They had the most experience working together. Alyssa Edwards and Tasha Steelz going at it with them two being former tag team partners, allowing the men and women to fight each other, which they've shown throughout the night and throughout the years in TNA. So this was just a great match. This is one of the best matches of the year. I don't know where I would have it ranked yet, but I'll figure that out at some point. What followed? Javon Evans and Leon Slater. Javon Evans and Leon Slater for the X Division Championship. Leon Slater, the youngest in charge. Javon Evans, the young OG. This had match of the year potential. This match was fucking amazing. The way it's they show respect to each other at the start, but the intensity picked up so quickly. And it was damn, these guys are really going at it. They was hitting some crazy moves, and it's not like they hit their finishers a crazy amount of times. They didn't hit their finishers. I think Javon hit his finisher twice, and then they ended up going to a 20-minute time limit with how crazy they was going. And I was like, damn, 20-minute time limit. And it was Santino, he put 5 more minutes on the clock just for it. And actually, before I get to that, it's some of the moves that was hitting, because he hit the OG cutter twice, if I'm not mistaken, back-to-back, and Leon still ended up kicking out. I don't have a problem with finishers until it gets beyond 3. 3 or less is my limit for finishers in a match. And I guess this one felt important because it's TNA versus NXT, and TNA can't let another NXT wrestler win their title. So Javon Evans hitting 2 finishes I'm cool with. Even if he would have hit 3, I would have been fine with that. Anything more, I would have had a problem with, because it was a lot of moves, and people might complain about that. But these moves felt special. Even if it didn't feel special, like it was fast paced between two young guys. Like their motor just isn't giving out. Like these two young guys, they got energy, so it makes sense they can go at a pace this fast at a rate like this. That's why this match is what it is. Santino puts 5 more minutes on the clock. Javon Evans hits a Spanish fly off the top rope, and the fucking lights go out. Then it's dark state. They ruined the fucking match. Could have been match of the year, and I can't even if a match like that ended in a no contest because of an interference. Like I don't even know where I ranked that. Like I can't put that top 5. I mean, I'm gonna call it a top 10 match. I can't put it top 5 because of that stupid ass ending. But that's a top 10 match of the year. If that didn't have an interference and it had a clean winner, that would have been the best match of the year, hands down. But that stupid ass finish killed it. Team 3D versus the Hardy Boys in tables match one final time. This match was kind of confusing because the goal of it is you had to put both your opponents through the table, and shouldn't that make it an elimination match then? Like when Jeff went through the table, shouldn't he be eliminated? Or am I tripping? Like, shouldn't he be eliminated from the match? I feel like that would make more sense. But this match was kind of mediocre. It wasn't a terrible match. It wasn't as bad as people are saying with the DX versus the Brothers of Destruction. It wasn't like that. It was a mediocre match at best, but it wasn't terrible either. The Hardys ended up getting a win. Jeff hit the Swanton bomb on Devon through the table. Then Bully Ray just gave up at the end, and I was like, okay, that's kind of weak. You could have at least fought back. But yeah, that was a mediocre match. But the Hardys retained. Both titles were on the line, but the Hardys retained and made the most sense. The Hardys can still go. The Dudley Boys were out the door, especially Devon. He could barely walk at the end. I was like, I hope he's all right. Like, real shit. Like, he didn't look good after the match, but I hope he's all right. And then the main event, which I made a short about earlier, Mike Santana versus Trick Williams for the TNA World title. A Trick cut a promo pre-match, but Mike Santana, he wasn't having any of it. He wasn't trying to hear that. And then Mike Santana's daughter, Ariana, she was ringside for the match. She ended up slapping Trick in the match, which was funny because it's like, that really should be a disqualification, but I guess we just letting anything fly. So Ariana, she slapped Trick Williams when he was talking trash to her. So there was a funny moment. It was cool though. Mike Santana was busted open early on in the match, like just a few minutes in, probably like 5 minutes in. I would say he was already bleeding, maybe less than that. I was surprised. And yeah, Trick taunted her early as hell into the match, and then Trick, he tried to use the belt, but Mike Santana hit to spin the block. But Trick was able to kick out of the first one. Then Santana, he kicked out of the Trick shot. Then spin the block again for the win. Mike Santana ends up winning the match. Hit to spin the block twice. Trick Williams cost himself the match by taunting Mike's daughter, Ariana, by playing to the crowd. The promo pre-match, like he was just off his rhythm, off his game, just seemed distracted, and he lost himself the match. Like, it was a great match. It was a good main event. It made the most sense for Mike Santana to get it. He had the best story going into it. Him and Trick, Mike Santana versus Trick Williams, is the best story of 2025, in my opinion. It has officially overtaken Naomi and Jade as the best story. And I think it's just been perfect what they've been able to do. A great storytelling, Mike Santana, and having that moment with his daughter, Ariana. That was very special and amazing to see. Like, what a match, what a main event, and what a show. I give Bound for Glory an 8 out of 10. This was a special event. I enjoyed it. It's a few things that could have been tweaked, like Steve Macklin becoming a 2-time champion that wasn't needed. The terrible ending to the Javon Evans versus Leon Slater match, which was one of the best matches of the year. Best match of the year if it wasn't for the finish. And then the Hardys and Dudleys one last time. AJ Styles and John Cena had the best off of the weekend. The Hardys and Dudleys just couldn't do it. The Hardys, they did their part. Bully Ray, he gave up at the end, and Devon, he could barely walk. But nah, shout out to the old guys though. Devon, Bully Ray, they had legendary careers. It's their last match. Them going out to the Hardy Boys made the most sense. But leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, comment what y'all thought about Bound for Glory, share for others to see, and once again, congratulations to Mike Santana on becoming TNA World Champion for the first time ever.